Welcome to the Adventures in Alchemy podcast, where we share tips, techniques, and true stories to support you in using the law of attraction and alchemy to create magic and live the life of your dreams. Here's your host, the founder of dailyalchemy.com, Michelle Martin Dobbins.
Hi, this is Michelle Martin Dobbins, and this is the Adventures in Alchemy podcast. Today I want to talk to you about an exercise, a technique that I often do, and that can probably be helpful to a lot of you. But before I tell you too much about it, I want to tell you why I use it. I discovered long ago, and actually probably not as long as I wish I would have, that I have empathic abilities, and I'm kind of guessing that probably a lot of people who listen to this podcast do too. Maybe even you. If you find that you have emotions and feelings and you don't know the reason why, especially when you're in large groups of people or even smaller groups of people, you may be a person who picks up on other people's energy or an empath and can feel what other people are feeling. And this is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful gift. But when we don't understand it and when we don't want it at that present moment in time, it can be kind of troublesome to deal with. But once you learn how to manage this, it is a wonderful tool, because when you know how someone else is feeling, you can be helpful to them. You can be a support to them, and you can just kind of have a better idea of what's going on around you. So that being said, I started doing this technique called the magic bubble with my children because they couldn't sleep at night. And this was really even before I got to the point of realizing that it was a great thing for empaths and that I even was an empath. But what I would do was I would sit with them, because I had some of my children had nightmares and just different things and a lot of energy running around. And so I taught them we would go from the top of their head and just go down through the tips of their toes and visualize their body filling with white light. And we describe this white light as God's love. You can describe it as universal love or just love or whatever makes you feel comfortable. And we would talk about God's love filling them up and then making a big bubble of this beautiful white light all around them. And that's their bubble, and nobody can come in or out unless they are there for their highest good and unless they want them to. So their energy was safe for them to sleep. They didn't have to worry about scary monsters or, anything. And it took me a little bit to realize that I started doing it to myself, was doing to them. And then as I learned that I was feeling other people's feelings, I found that putting on this magic bubble really helped me keep my feelings to myself, and keep other people's feelings out. Because, unless you're coaching or helping somebody, or you're in a situation where you kind of want to feel what's going on, you don't always want that. I know for myself, if you're focused that way, or you're just open and you walk into a store, it can be, for me, one of the biggest challenges are sporting events, especially children's sporting events. Yeah. You would think that children's sporting events would be joyful, fun places, but those of you who have kids who participate in sports probably know that they're crazy. I say that really in all due respect, but some parents get really wound up about it. And I would go to these sporting events, and I'm not a wound up parent. I just want my kids to enjoy, do their best, have fun. And some parents are really, really bent on their kid winning, or their kid being the MVP, their kid doing the best. And that puts a lot of negative energy, a lot of stress energy, a lot of anger energy, a lot of guilt energy into the air. And I would just feel like I would get sick when I went to my kids' sporting events, until I learned how to do the magic bubble, and would do that when I went there. But yeah, that's a definite time. I mean, when we don't want other people's energy and we want to shield ourselves. And there are lots of little techniques, and really the main thing is your intention. And once you know that other people's energy affects you, you can make sure that you have time alone by yourself. You can set up a magic bubble, or some other way to shield your energy when you go out into the world. Doing the magic bubble is just one, and it's one that, I sat and would do for a 10-minute meditation, but now, because I've done it so long, I can just intend to be in my bubble when I go to Walmart. That's just kind of discount shopping center that can be a little crazy in the US, or a sporting event, or a party, or like a conference, anything where there's going to be a whole lot of other people's energy and emotions bouncing around. It's great to protect yourself. And even if you don't think you're an empath, you may want to just try this and see if it changes your experience. Because I do think that a lot of people who think that they have social anxiety may have more of empathic qualities where they're picking up other people's feelings, and that creates anxiety in them that's not really theirs, or anxiety about these overwhelming emotions that are flooding their body and they don't know why, and they think that they're socially anxious. So give it a try the next time you go out into the world somewhere where there's going to be a lot of crazy energy bouncing around. Put on your magic bubble. I do think I have an audio that walks you through it in SoundCloud. Possibly. I'll see if I can find a link to that and put it in the show notes. So go out there, have a magical, magical day. Create something fabulous. Namaste.
Thanks for listening to the Adventures in Alchemy podcast. Connect with me on thedailyalchemy.com or Facebook at facebook.com/Michelle Dobbins, author. Join us next time for even more magical life tips.